As soccer takes center stage this summer, Comcast helps bring the experience home to America. As the exclusive Spanish-language home of the tournament in the U.S., Telemundo is set to present its most expansive coverage ever. 700 hours of programming, live on-site presence at all 104 matches. And with multi-view and real-time 4K, Xfinity will deliver the most innovative and immersive sports viewing experience for fans watching on Telemundo, Peacock, Fox, and FS1. Learn more at ComcastCorporation.com.
The World Cup is back and Football Weekly is going daily. From the goals and the glory to the politics and the problems, join me, Max Rushton, and our expert panel every day of the tournament. World Cup Daily, listen on Spotify now and watch the full episodes on YouTube.
And we're back with me, Johnny McMurray, on the On The Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. This evening's guest has taken his time out of work to come and be here. He is Mr. Futsal Northern Ireland, and he is the captain of that as well. It's my pleasure to introduce Darius Roohi.
Restart. I'm not the captain.
Are you not? No. Here, first clip.
Poor Adam Barr. It's getting killed. Captain of Sparta. Not Northern Ireland.
You're my captain.
Okay, thank you.
And you should be the captain. You're the face of it all. Fuck me, right? Brilliant. Good start. Anyway, how's things?
Things are great, thanks.
Made these wee clips. That's what we talk about. You know what I mean? Short form content.
We're not actually restarting.
No chance we run. Cool. We don't clip. We don't clip. How's things?
It's great, yeah, thanks. Been really good, really positive 2026 so far for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll delve into it a little bit.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
There's futsal, there's working for the IFA, there's playing the game, there's going to America on exponential trips.
Yeah.
Mate, what a journey.
Amazing journey.
Yeah.
It's hard to pinpoint one of those things that stands out massively for me in terms of the personal life as well. I got engaged and I'm expecting a child
Congratulations.
in September.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Very supportive fiance here, letting me go and do all this stuff.
All these things.
Yeah, 100%. Very supportive. So, yeah, really exciting time and exciting times ahead, really. So,
yeah. And when's the due date?
September 14th.
Nice.
A son.
Oh, the change. Oh, you know that. Oh, class.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you.
It'll be class.
Yeah.
I always got these things too, and whenever Lucy was obviously pregnant the first time, you're like, oh, your life's over and blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
I think it was whenever I came back from the World Cup qualifiers there in April, Zara, the first thing she had for me as soon as I walked in the door was a mini Northern Ireland kit. It was like, you can walk out to the World Cup main round with your son with that kit on and everything. Really? But she made it really clear whenever we found out she was pregnant. She was like, look, I know how busy you are in terms of football, futsal, everything, coaching, work. And people usually have a negative narrative towards that. Like, your life's going to change and it's going to be this, that and the other.
Yeah.
She's like, it's not going to be that way and it doesn't have to be that way. So very thankful to have her and the support there. So
yeah.
It's a very exciting time.
Well, it doesn't need a change.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You can always fit in. You're going to dedicate a hell of a lot of time. Your weekends are going to change. Your nights are going to change. Yeah. You're going to get a lot of from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. You're probably going to get a lot of bonding time, you know what I mean? Because that's how it works. But mate, no, it's genuinely the best time. And one of the things, and I was said this before there just a couple of seconds ago, but you get into football and they're like, oh, that's your life over now, mate. No, and you're fucked and blah, blah. And you're sitting going, Jesus, what am I in for? And then it comes and you're like, this is the best thing ever. Yeah. So, very exciting for you. So, we'll have to meet up. Lucy's pregnant as well. She's due in December, so a couple of months ahead, and we'll get a few coffees together with the babies, and we'll pie off.
2026 is going to be a talented
Absolutely. Who knows? They might both be playing futsal. You never know.
Maybe.
You never know. Maybe. But mate, listen, one of the things, the reason why I wanted to have you on is futsal is obviously one of the biggest sports that you probably play in. Obviously, you play the game locally. You have done for a long, long time. But it's where you thrive. You shine on that, and I've been able to probably see that more so over the last year because I was with probably one of the worst teams trying to help out, and your team's like the fucking Harlem Globetrotters of futsal. So we'll dive into that too, but in terms of the local game, it's changing now. Working with the IFA, doing different bits and pieces. You've just signed for Dundela. Big Cliffy's managed to reel you in. What's that been like?
It's been a great start so far. We've started our pre-season 2 weeks ago. We're in 3 nights a week. And then Saturdays as well, Saturday mornings. Honestly, it's been amazing so far. Cliffy, John, Mac, Brett have been really, really supportive of me. They understood as well, you've mentioned, that I play futsal as well. And they, in terms of the support there, they have recognised I'm not going to hold them back from giving me an opportunity. in what is a really positive environment. And I think that's where I'll thrive.
Yeah. And the big changes have came. Obviously, you've played the game locally. You've been at Ballyclare. You've been at Ards. You've obviously made the move now. You've had quite a lot of experience playing lower league football. You scored quite a lot of goals. In terms of that, do you see yourself picking up this year with the idea that Cliffy's a wee bit more direct in what they do down there? It's a narrower pitch. There's a lot of people in the comments talking about Dundalk recently and the facilities and stuff they have, but it's its own wee unique ground.
Yeah, it is. It's a narrow pitch. People always say that it's an advantage for Dundalk whenever they're playing at home and anyone comes to visit. Touching on what's happened before, I've been so lucky to have so many talented coaches at all those clubs that have played at Ballyclare, of course. Smalley and Rambo, who's been here before. Amazing experience. Had John and at Ards, again, different experience, but a really good group to be involved in. And now with Cliffy and John Mack there at Dundalk, I've been really lucky to have the guidance of all those guys. In terms of picking up again, certainly that's my target. I had a really successful spell at Dundalk, or at Ballyclare, sorry, before I moved on to Ards, and I really enjoyed my spell at Ballyclare. I thought the team that we had there, young team, energetic, loads of goals in our matches, were really entertaining. Pity we couldn't keep as many out as a team, but we're really entertaining. Twice in the quarterfinals of the Irish Cup, which was a highlight. Then moving on to Ards as well. Semi-finals of the Irish Cup, massive highlight for our club. And then moving on to Dundalk, hoping to create the same level of what I have done over the past 4 or 5 years, certainly.
In terms of what you do for work, one of the biggest aspects and one of the most interesting things that I do is try and talk about people who try and publicise the game and build the game up to make it better. You're in a position now at the minute where you're working with the IFA, you're seeing youth development phases, and you're trying to progress those around the different districts and leagues. Talk to me about how you see that potentially progressing over the next couple of years.
Of course. My role with the Irish FA, of course, talked about it before, is a game development officer. And a key part of my work programme is developing youth leagues through the youth football framework. In terms of the youth football framework, I know a lot of people may not have heard about this that have listened about the podcast. But essentially what we're trying to do is revolutionise grassroots football, making sure there's a positive experience for every single person involved in the grassroots game, and lifelong participation there. In terms of developing that, the framework, it goes across 4 different pillars. I'm not going to delve all into that and go completely framework on you, but what we wanted to do was, as I said before, create that positive experience through the different formats, and we talked about that as well, in terms of 3v3 right through to 11v11, and create that across the whole country. In terms of locally, I know that I've been working with a youth league called the Mid-East Antrim Game Development Centre as an example, who have implemented the 3v3 format at under 6 and under 7, where yes, there's numbers on the pitch, 3v3, it's tighter spaces, but there's more opportunities for goals. The environment that they're trying to create there, a really positive environment on the pitch, off the pitch, is really, really important. It's one of the most important parts of the framework. Education, making sure that the players, the parents, the coaches, everyone involved in the game understands what's going on in the game. Doesn't look like 11-a-side football. It's not supposed to. In terms of the governance as well, final pillar, that making sure that each youth league has strong governance so that they're sustainable and are set up for long-term growth. And Mid-East Antrim is a great example of that. They had never offered structured football for under 6s and under 7s before 2 years ago, before the framework was introduced. And now they're booming in terms of the amount of players, teams that want to enter that league. And it's testament to, and a massive credit to the people that are involved there. Andy Milligan's put in a lot of great work as the head of that, but also all the coordinators are involved in that league, all the coaches, all the parents, all the players buying into the framework. It's massive, and I think that's what it takes, is buy-in.
See you
Hey, it's Bill from the Bill Simmons podcast. FIFA World Cup 26 fans, listen up. As the official beer sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 26, Michelob Ultra is giving away $1 million worth of FIFA World Cup 26 tickets and prizes. Enter now at MichelobUltra.com/superior access/FIFA World Cup 26. Michelob Ultra FIFA World Cup 26 superior access. No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus begins on December 1st, 2025. Ends on July 31st, 2026. Multiple entry periods. Visit www.MichelobUltra.com/superior access/FIFA World Cup 26 for free entry deadlines, prizes, and details.
Do you hear that? Sounds like breakfast is ready. Because Quaker's coming in hot with morning nutrition. 100% whole grain oats and a good source of fiber to fuel the rhythm of your morning and kickstart your day. And that sounds absolutely delicious. Fuel to start whatever's next. Quaker, official sponsor of FIFA World Cup 26.
In terms of the idea of changing it up, when we grew up, it was 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 11v11.
Yes.
You're out there, you're just doing it. Do you see a massive benefit in what way these changes have implemented over the last 2 years and how it allows kids to potentially get more contact time with the ball and more potential for goal and never worrying about trying to teach a 6-year-old to play right back?
Yes.
Do you think that works?
Exactly how you said it there. We want to give autonomy to the players. We want the players to become their own decision makers, quick thinking, allowing them to have more touches on the ball. The research has said it. If you've seen the 3v3, it's a much tighter pitch, but there's actually 2 goals to score into and 2 goals to defend against.
Okay.
So if we're talking about UEFA qualifications here, and that's not what you're going to be talking to the kids about on the pitch,
Yes,
but you're talking
no.
about principles of width and depth, naturally, because if you've got 2 goals to score into, naturally the kids are going to spread out a little bit more.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard coaches saying, spread out, get wider, do it? But that game naturally creates that. Plus as well, because of the space and because of the numbers that are on the pitch, you are going to have more touches, you're going to have more individual battles, you're going to have more opportunities to create 1v1 situations, something we've been crying out for a long time at senior men and senior women international level. If we look at our performance pathways,
Yeah.
more goals, more defensive actions as well. So you're creating the holistic player. Plus, it's fun.
Yeah.
If you've ever played that format before, and I've actually been involved in playing it, because I wouldn't endorse something if I haven't played it before and enjoyed it myself. Adults that I've delivered workshops to have had an opportunity to actually play it. The coaches that are going to be involved in it for their players have really enjoyed it. So it's the key behind it all is it's really, really fun.
In terms of what we do now and this structure that has been implemented over the last couple of years, and it's not to criticise the IFA in any way, shape or form, but Northern Ireland as a whole, regardless of whether it's football or hockey or basketball or whatever it may be, we always seem to be quite far behind other countries whenever we implement these things. And I think with one of the biggest things that you do at the minute with futsal and how that works, and something that we'll talk about, is these South American countries have developed the best players, the likes of Neymar and Robinho and all these players who are flair players and technically super. They were all doing this 20 years ago in their countries, but we only seem to be doing it over the last couple. It's strange how we haven't caught up quicker.
20 years is very generous.
Probably
50.
Probably 50, yeah.
I think a large part of that is down to innovation as well. Of course, there's a lot of credibility when a Spain or a Portugal or an Argentina or a Brazil try something and it's successful. Whereas locally, if we maybe try something a bit innovative, we're only Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
So why are you trying that whenever they're doing that over there? Of course, it needs to be relative as well, size and scale of our population versus those nations that I've mentioned. It doesn't add up. So, yeah, I'm delighted that now we are on this trajectory of allowing our players to play formats that are suitable for the age and stage in which they're at.
Yeah.
But also that it's a holistic approach, as I'd said. If it's all about the active game, like what we're actually seeing on the pitch, then we're missing out on the education. We're missing out on the environment that we want to create. We're missing out on the governance. In terms of that environment, if you're able to create such a positive environment at your club, on your sidelines, on the pitches, more than likely kids and people are going to stay in the game for longer. That means more people involved in football for longer.
Yeah.
More people around you. And strength in numbers will happen in that instance in terms of your club capacity. A lot of people say about lack of volunteer support, But if you're able, and I use a lot of clubs as an example because there's a lot of great examples of a player entering a club pathway as a young player, having an amazing experience. Then when they turn 17, 18, 19, they want to feed back into that pathway as a volunteer or a coach. To me, that's ideal.
Yeah.
And this is what this framework can allow people to do.
Did you have much resistance from clubs? As much as you always have people who are front foot and forward thinking and they want to maybe take on these new incentives, there's obviously going to be the old heads, the people who maybe don't see the change and don't see the reason behind why this may help in the future. How hard is it dealing with, now we don't have to name anyone, but clubs and just in general, what it's like?
It's difficult dealing with pushback, of course, especially whenever there's evidence there. We've done a lot of work with Ulster University in terms of the data-driven approach behind this. So it's not just one person saying, this is the framework and this is the way we're doing it. We also brought people on a journey with us in terms of workshops, and before the framework there was a lot of meetings with councils and clubs and stakeholders from everywhere. So yes, to answer your question, it is difficult to hear the pushback, but as long as we stick to the plan and we stick to the framework, honestly, only good things will happen. And I'm really excited for the next couple of years to see the pathway of players following the framework and seeing their technical excellence, seeing how positive they are by football, seeing them stay in the game for much longer. I've said it a couple times already. Retaining players in our sport and making sure it's lifelong participation is massive for me.
Yeah. Now the key goal for this obviously has to be around getting young kids potentially into the senior setup. We have to look at trying to publicise sport from the ground up, and we have to obviously try and strengthen numbers as you talked about, but the senior squad needs to benefit from that. But how do you think that once the kids get to a certain level, we get there? Because you have a lot of different stories. Kids go over early, sometimes they come back from England, sometimes they wait, and then they go when they're 19, 20, 21, 22, and then they end up staying for longer. How do you think that works? What do you think is the best way, in your own opinion, that works?
We've seen successes two-pronged. We've seen people that have left the Irish League, have entered the Irish League system and played since they were maybe 17, 18, 19, and then went across to professional clubs in England, Scotland, Wales, and done really well, or not well, and came back. You've also seen people that have come through international squads, youth international squads and youth academies, and went across and done well or not so well. I don't think there's any one way that we can say that's the definite route to success, and every individual player's journey is going to be different. We've seen, use Conor McManaman as an example, a recent example, that was playing Irish League for a long time, a player that I've played with at Warren Point, has played at a couple of other massive clubs in the Irish League, and then went to St Mirren and done really, really well, got into international caps and played there for a long time at international level, and has now come back to the Irish League, but like didn't have that pathway of terms of going from academy to across. He actually developed in the Irish League, and then you've had other examples that have developed in that academy system and went over and had a really successful career as well. So I think as long as we're open to having multiple different avenues into the professional game locally now, which is a great offering, but also in other nations, if we have that offering, I think it can only be positive.
Well, one of the reasons why I've asked that question is because I want to translation it into futsal, and one of the reasons why obviously I want to have you on here is to publicise not only the recent achievements that's happened, which we will dive into, but a chance to represent your country at any level through any sport is incredible. It's such a tremendous feat. The fact that we have a small-sided futsal and football like game that mimics the game that we all love, why can't we work together? And this is one of the questions. Now, these are probably going to be the questions probably going to educate me as so, but obviously if you're in professional contract, the clubs don't want you to go and play futsal, but you have a chance that you could potentially build a sport here in Northern Ireland that could allow you to represent your country and play against some of the biggest nations in the world through that small-sided game. Why can't we work together?
It's a good question. Why can't we? I know that for every club I played for, I've made it clear that, you know, I love futsal. It's an amazing sport. I think it's the most entertaining sport in the world. And I think that active collaboration with the clubs and understanding, like, this is my schedule, this is what I do on a weekly basis, this is when I'm potentially not going to be available for a football match because I'm playing in the Champions League or I'm playing with the national team, and I don't want to miss that opportunity. Playing career is very short, and I don't want to miss that opportunity to play in the Champions League or to represent Northern Ireland. You say that, like, for any person to represent their country on the international stage is massive, regardless of what sport they play. For me, since I was a young boy, that was something I always wanted to do. Football, of course. But in futsal, for me, as I said before, the most entertaining sport, it's an honour for me to represent Northern Ireland. I know that there is, you mentioned about professional contracts, and yes, people do have to stick to their contracts and what they sign in football, and they need to be transparent with their clubs if they are going to pursue futsal. But for a lot of players that are on amateur contracts, for example, or aren't playing football but want to have an interest in futsal, the one thing I would say is just go and try it. Because I guarantee whenever you try it, you will find it really entertaining. People say, I get loads of questions still about, like, what actually is futsal? Is it that indoor sport with, like, the long net, and can you hit it off the wall? Can you hit it off the roof? Can it go over your head? Is it the fluffy tennis ball? Is the question I get asked a lot. What size?
That's so old school. The fluffy tennis ball.
The fluffy tennis ball. Like, what size is the court? Like, how many players a side is it? Like, I get asked all those questions, and very open-minded and very open and transparent. I love having those conversations with people, even if it is stripping it right back. Because I'm having, like, I'm an international player, but I'm having a conversation with someone that has no clue about the sport. But I think all international players and all players that play futsal have a duty to educate.
Absolutely.
And to shine a light on what futsal actually is. And as I said, if anyone has not seen a futsal match before, honestly, watch it. It's crazy. We talk about, in terms of the youth football framework, there's a lot of links between the youth football framework and actually what futsal can deliver as well. In terms of the amount of space you have to play, you have to make quick decisions, you have to use your teammates. We talk about football and futsal as a comparison. What I will say about futsal is, if you're looking at numbers on the court solely, 5 players, 5 against 5, you're 20% of your team. So if you make a mistake, or if you don't do something on the court and someone capitalizes on that, 20% of your team is gone. It's a big part of your team. And if you consider the space, then, you know, if you make a mistake, if I'm the back player, which is known as the fix, if I'm the back player and I make a mistake and someone takes the ball off me, a pivot, forward player, it's a good chance it's going to be a goal. Whereas if I use a football example, if I'm a striker and I lose the ball in the final third, there's 10 other people behind me to cover up for my mistake, and there's a long way to get from that goal to score, so less likely to punish you.
In terms of the overall game, though, not only is it ridiculously important because you get so much more contact time with the ball, there's so much more touches, you have more time to control, but as you say, your decision making has to speed up, your movement has to improve and increase. It's constantly non-stop, it's constantly rotating with players off the bench because it's supremely intense. And I don't think people look at it as indoor sport, like, I'm playing 5-a-side with my mates. It's so different once tactics come into it, once people start rotating and moving and banging into you, putting you off, and you're trying to run to create spaces, and then goalkeepers come out and then you're stuck in your box. It's fascinating.
It's extremely technical, extremely tactical. And for anyone that wishes to compare it to 5-a-side, honestly, I just encourage you to watch
it's not even close.
A futsal match, even highlights of it. People usually, when they hear futsal, they associate it with, like, Falcao or Ricardinho, and they're, like, extreme examples that are, like, the best players ever, arguably. And the way they play the game is incredible. But yes, I say technical and tactical. People also have a misconception about futsal that it's not physical. It is extremely physical in terms of physicality. Is not just smashing into someone with a heavy tackle. It's like how well you can move on the court, how fast you can run on the court. It's a different type of fitness to football. You're constantly at 100%. if you're looking at a futsal match, and if you look at the way the pros play, usually you're only on the court for 2 or 3 minutes, stop clock, before you make a rolling sub and come off again, because the demands of the game is so intense.
Yeah.
The games are usually very high scoring as well. In football, if you see a scoreline where it's 5-1 to the other team, it's very unlikely that you're going to get back into the game.
Yeah.
Whereas with futsal, the game is always on. And that's something that really struck me when I started to play. It's something I had to learn really quick on the international stage as well. Like, you think you're getting comfortable at a certain scoreline. Next thing you know, they get 1 or 2 goals back. There's 2 minutes to go. They go fly goalkeeper, as in they bring the goalkeeper out and start playing with them.
And you're just pinned.
And you're in an overload, essentially, because you've got your goalkeeper in the net and 4 outfield players. They got 5 outfield players. Again, more strategy that comes into it.
And that's the thing too. You can swap your goalkeeper for an outfield player.
Yes.
Have him come up, join in, and then as soon as the ball goes dead,
swap
him back out,
Yeah,
bring your keeper back in. Like,
can.
You have to be smart in terms of how you utilise your team.
Yeah.
Near enough.
Yeah, and the qualities of each individual player in your team is so important as well. It's the details involved in football in comparison to futsal locally. I think futsal requires a lot more detail in terms of playing the game, because the game moments are they're so dramatic. They change from one moment to the next. One moment you could have 5 players on the court, and you're winning the game by 2 goals, and you've got 5 really attacking players on the court. Next thing you know, you can see the goal. The game moment changes really quickly. Okay, do I need those specific 5 players on the court to hold on for the final 2 minutes? Maybe not, so I need to make 1 or 2 changes. But they're split-second decisions from a coach or a manager on the sideline. Yeah. It's really fascinating to see coaches or managers, how they manage games on the sideline.
Are all batteries the same? That's like asking if all soccer players are the same. Take Messi, the most decorated player ever. Is there any other player who has achieved that? No, just him. Now take Duracell. Is there any other battery with power boost ingredients inside? No, just Duracell. Remember, goats only trust goats because they're built different. And Messi only trusts Duracell.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
One of the things that I want to talk to you about is obviously the progression of futsal potentially in Northern Ireland. I know Johnny Michaels is the chairman of NIF and such, and obviously trying to publicise the sport to be as professional as possible, getting as many teams in as possible as well. What's the struggle that you find that allows players to, well, actual players, maybe who have played in the Championship, Premiership? Is it mindset? Is it a reasoning with clubs to allow people to go and do both because of potential injuries, loss of money, loss of earnings? There's obviously a lot of factors that come into this.
Combination of all those, Johnny, to be honest. I think it's also the exposure of the sport, like what rewards the sport can actually offer. When I speak to a lot of people in the dressing rooms that I've been involved in, Championship, Premiership, Irish Premiership, and they don't know that in futsal we're playing, the winner goes to the Champions League, or that there even is a senior men or senior women's national team to play for. And you compare it to football and think how far we actually are away from either, 1, competing in the Champions League with your club, or 2, ever getting a cap for Northern Ireland in football. It's all very relative. At dressing rooms that I've been in, usually we're all very far away from that. And you do have a lot of talented footballers even in leagues below, that I would pose that question to. Do you want to play in a sport that, yes, is really entertaining and has all the developmental things associated with it, but also do you want to play at a level where you can go and compete against the best players in Europe and in the world in these amazing competitions? Whenever I got asked that question nearly 10 years ago, it was a yes. Yeah. There was something that really interested me, even to try it. And from that moment, when I first went to train with Sparta Belfast, my club, I was hooked. Yeah. So, yes, there is the difficulties around training schedules, for sure. If some teams are training and you're combining that with your football training, the commitment is big. Yes, matches as well, because usually the matches locally are on Sunday afternoons. Yeah, Sunday mornings or afternoons, sometimes occasionally on a Friday. So yes, there is a commitment there. Yes, as well, if you're looking to make money, it's not in futsal in Northern Ireland, unfortunately.
It's definitely not, yeah.
It's definitely not. In comparison to football, where you might be playing at top 3 leagues or even below and make money. You then question why we play. It's because it's amazing. The sport is absolutely amazing, and the opportunities that are available in futsal. I talk about playing a lot there, but also coaching and developing the next generation of players.
Yeah.
I think is really rewarding.
Well, you're doing those Sparta mini games, aren't you? It's going in like Newton Abbey and different things like that, and you've been able to partner with the likes of Lauren and different things like that, which is obviously just going to publicise the sport naturally.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we have to talk about is, and I did mention this and it was a joke, but it's a joke with a jag. Sparta Belfast are pretty much the Harlem Globetrotters of the Irish League. Like, they're like unbelievable. And when you compare them against other teams, there's 22, 23 goals scored in games. It's fantastic, but these are so well drilled and so professional that everybody's bought into that, and it's hard for other teams to probably catch up and mimic because of the amount of numbers of people who probably want to participate. But when you guys go to the Champions League, it's so different.
Completely. And yes, we understand that locally we have been the dominant force for the past 4 or 5 years. And actually, a lot of people ask me the question about like Sparta, like they're winning a lot. Like, is it good for the local game? At some point, Sparta were not the best team locally. There were other clubs there that have won the title before Sparta had won it. Belfast United is an example. Rosario is another example of teams that have won the league before. So at some point, Sparta's mindset as a club needed to change. Like, what did they actually want to achieve? They wanted to win the league, yes, but also they shifted the focus to not just focusing on the senior team, but to focus on
an academy.
What is below that. We all realize that we're not going to be able to play forever. Players that signed for us are not going to be able to play forever. We need to start thinking about the bigger picture, which is investing a lot of energy, time, money into youth and putting pathways in place. You mentioned the Blitz as well. It's something we're really proud of as a club, to bring other clubs, other football clubs, big names like you said, Lauren there, on a journey with us. We don't want to be going onto court every Sunday after training throughout the week really, really hard and winning by massive scorelines, because it's actually not beneficial to us either, as well as the other team. We don't see any benefit in that. We do it because we have to win games. We win games because we have to win to go to the Champions League. But we want there to be more of a competitive balance in the league. And I believe that starts with youth, and reinvesting back into our pathways. Yes, for the here and now, having better senior players around you will help in the short term, for sure. And I do encourage, as I said, a lot of times for people to go to local clubs training sessions and even give it a go. But long term, it's within the youth, for sure. When we go to the Champions League, as you said, it's a different story. You talk about big fish in a small pond. We are then the small fish in a very big pond whenever we go to Europe. Before last season, no team from Northern Ireland had ever went away to the Champions League and even got a point in Europe. The way that it works when you go to Europe is you're drawn in a group of 4, and they're seeded pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, pot 4. Northern Irish clubs have always been the pot 4 with a coefficient of 0. Why? Because we never won a game or ever got a point. So you're going away to the Champions League and being drawn against a host nation. All the players or all the teams go to that host nation and they play all their matches within that week. But you're usually drawn against a pot 1, pot 2 and a pot 3 who, at least for pot 1 and pot 2, usually professional teams, professional players that are doing this every day and well compensated for it, and a pot 3 team that is a very strong side that aren't professional, maybe semi-professional. Maybe you might even get 3 professional clubs in there if you're really unlucky. And for the first couple of years, whenever we first qualified for the Champions League in 2019. It was a rude awakening, for sure. For sure. I'll not mention scorelines or anything. People can go and do their own research.
It was the opposite.
They can go and do their own research on that. But that was the same whenever the national team first started. Whenever players were first only getting into the sport, we had a national team really early. So there was a lot of players in that.
Because I remember like Aaron Smith,
yes,
Kieran Donaghy was a part of it all, and they were pretty much retiring from football,
yes,
weren't they? And then they were going in. So
yeah, Kieran's very influential in futsal, very, very, and does a lot of great work in terms of the coach education courses, and actually his ACFC team go to the blitzes. So again, we're very much aligned on the view that long term it's with youth, but yeah, those sort of people have been involved in futsal in its early stages, and Kieran actually has a lot of caps for Northern Ireland as well.
Yeah.
And has been to the Champions League, so we can vouch whenever I say how difficult it is to go to these places where sometimes in the past, not now, but in the past, it felt like they were playing a completely different sport to us.
Yeah.
It felt like they were doing things that at a pace, at a speed, in moments that we hadn't even seen 5 seconds before.
Yeah.
They're already doing things that we couldn't even envisage doing. Fast forward to last year, we were drawn in a group which contained Araz Nakhchivan from Azerbaijan, a team fully professional. We'd played the year before as well, so we knew them. The hosts, Lejudy Krasniki, which were an Austrian side, and PYF Saltires, which were a Scottish side.
Okay.
We played, usually the first game is a pot 1 against pot 4, so you know you're playing the best team whenever you arrive. We lost the game 9-1.
Okay.
Against these players, which the year before they beat us 7-1. We had improved as a squad. Our preseason was outstanding. We went in flying fit. For any person that knows local futsal, they'll know that we're very physically fit, like local players that play in Sparta. Preseasons are always very, very tough. And we went there with an improved squad, with a much better preseason behind us, and lost more. It tells you a lot about what they had done in the year leading up to that, in terms of their recruitment and the way that Araz had prepared. The second game, next day, we had to play the hosts. Bumper crowd, and you can imagine when you've got over 1,000 people in an indoor arena shouting and screaming for the host that needed to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to win. They beat us 3-2.
Right, okay.
Pot 2 team. And that gave us a lot of hope. The game was 1-1 for a very, very long time. We then got a player sent off, had to play 5 against 4 for 2 minutes until they scored as well. Yeah. So there was a lot in that game that went against us, but it was a very proud moment for us to understand like we are much closer now than what we were previously. Then the third game, we created history as a club and won 5-1 against PYF Saltires. First win ever for a Northern Irish side in the Champions League.
Amazing.
After what was a lot of years of pain to get to that point. I then talk about, and you mentioned it earlier, about creating history with the national team as well. Same situation in April. We got drawn in a group with England, Sweden and Switzerland. If you're looking at football, that's a really difficult group. It's a horrible group.
Northern Ireland aren't surviving.
That's a horrible group, right?
Yeah.
But in futsal, it's different.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a correlation usually between Spain, Brazil, Portugal, Argentina, that their football team is massive and strong.
Yeah.
Futsal is also strong in those nations. But in this round, whenever you're playing against the likes of Sweden, Switzerland and England, the gap between them and us isn't massive.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you enter the preliminary round, which is what it was, again, same format as Champions League, they're hosted drawn out and they host all the games. It was in England this time, Loughborough, my old university. We had recently appointed a new manager for that, Enrique Guillen, who had come in. We only had 3 camps. No international friendly going into the qualifiers. We played 1 in-house friendly against the team
down south, was it?
Down south, who came up and played us. But that took up one of our camps.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 2 full camps to prepare against all these nations that have been playing international friendlies and training for a long time. Arrived in Loughborough and created history, incredibly. I think as well, because we're so humble as a nation, we usually don't compare ourselves to the other nations. Like, they're always much better than us. They do this, they do that. But actually, I had a lot of belief going into that qualifiers, and a lot of the senior players, I talk to them every single day. They think I'm a pain in the bum because I'm so vocal about futsal in general. But honestly, I was feeding belief because I genuinely did believe we could do something in that group. it's all well and good me believing and us actually going and doing it, which I'll talk about. We played the first game against Sweden. We were 2-0 down. We brought it back to 2-2 with 1 minute to go. And they scored from a deflected kick in on the side, last minute of the game. And we couldn't bring it back. So they beat us 3-2. But that's a pot 1 against the pot 4, which was at the time. The second game, we played England. England won the first game 9-0 against Switzerland. So a lot of people are like,
they're going
to batter us.
Yeah.
They're going to batter us. And we used that as energy. Massively used that as energy. England, we had to play England at their home venue, packed crowd. They don't need to win, but if they win, they qualify.
Yeah.
We need to win. But we managed to deflect all that pressure away and to go out and perform and to win the game 7-5, which was our first ever official tournament win for the national team. Going into the final game then, we played Switzerland, knowing that if we win that game, we qualify. And we were the first game that day, also against Switzerland. Switzerland could also qualify as well. The group was mad at that point. Anyone could qualify because Switzerland drew with Sweden the game before. So Switzerland lost their first game 9-0 and then drew with the best team.
Yeah, the best team.
The next game, futsal's like that. If we beat Switzerland, we go through. We were 3-1 up at some point in the game. They brought it back to 3-2 just before half-time, which I think was a big turning point in the game. They then scored 1 minute to go from a deflection, caused a bit of chaos. It happens a lot in futsal. They scored 3-3. We draw the game. Sweden and England are playing after. Sweden have already qualified at this point. And we're thinking we've missed a massive opportunity here to progress. I think there was a lot of feeling in that in the dressing room. I for sure was like that. I thought we'd missed an opportunity. I believed we would do something. Maybe that was the something. That's what I was thinking. We got 4 points and that was a big thing for us.
It was close, yeah.
We were close, but maybe not going to get it. And Sweden went and beat England in the game after. And the scenes in the crowd, because we were obviously...
Still waiting,
we were there watching the game.
Yeah.
Crazy, packed house. We went nuts. We went absolutely nuts. So thank you to Sweden. They actually played their best game of the group. I think it was because they are qualified, no pressure. They played amazing. Thankfully, that Sweden didn't play us in the first game. Would have been a battering. Yeah. But history was made there. Mm-hmm. And now we're playing in the main round.
So what does that look like going forward then? You have
home and away fixtures now.
Okay.
So we'll have 2 games at home and 2 games away.
And where's the home pitch?
Well, historically it would have been in Newry.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But more often we've been playing at Newford Sports Complex now.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Which is a state-of-the-art new venue.
Unbelievable.
Amazing venue. And hopefully that's where our home games will be. We believe that if we have that venue, it'd be really good for us and really good to
like a base near enough.
Expose the sport and give promotion to the sport and have that place there. We're playing Poland and Bosnia now.
Okay.
If you look at it on paper, you're like, oh, like winnable or whatever, or that's not that bad. Or maybe it wasn't the draw that you wanted. You maybe wanted, because anyone in Europe comes in at that point, you're playing Portugal or Spain or here. It's maybe not what you wanted. Honestly, don't underestimate those nations. Mm-hmm. They are amazing.
Yeah.
They are incredible. Poland, if you do your research, for those that don't know much about futsal, their club sides are getting like 10,000, 12,000 people at European games, and their national team are getting like 5,000-6,000. Just depending, because they play all over the place.
That's insane.
Massive crowds in Bosnia as well. Massive, absolutely massive. So
this episode is brought to you by Google Health. Stop chasing someone else's definition of health. What matters is what's healthy for you. Google Health offers a new kind of coach built with Gemini for effortless tracking, sleep insights, and holistic coaching tailored to you. Visit googlestore.com to learn more and start a new relationship with your health. Requires Google account, Google Health app, internet, and Google Health premium subscription. Features subject to change. Availability and results vary. Not intended for medical purposes. Works independently of Gemini apps. Check responses for accuracy.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire, the no-show. Who set you back because they didn't show up on day 1, or day 2, or ever again. And now your product launch is delayed because you're talking to alien abduction podcasters to track them down. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can help make sure your next hire sticks. In fact, businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Most of these countries are all professional.
Yes.
The majority of them. And I know, like, if you go to the likes of Spain and certain things like that, there's players that are on like £500,000 a year. Like, there's people on humongous money. Like, so when you think about the sport here, that's pretty much only started near enough and developing over the last sort of 5-10 years, it's finally getting to the stage where it's actually trying to do things.
Yeah. When I played in Spain, I definitely wasn't earning $500,000 a year. Playing way
we all wish.
way down the leagues anyway. Yeah. But you're right. It's taken time, nearly 10 years since the sport was introduced in Northern Ireland. But actually, if you look on the grand scheme of things, 10 years is not a big amount of time to actually start achieving results in Europe with club and to start achieving history with your national team to get to this stage.
Yeah.
That's testament to the work that's been going on behind the scenes over the years, but also a testament to the staff and the players that have been involved in the team and the clubs.
Yeah.
To get us to this point. And honestly, long may it continue. And I believe futsal will have a bright future in Northern Ireland if we just keep pushing hard.
Do you think it's a situation where clubs, professional clubs, the likes of Linfield and Ballymena and Glentoran and all these players, these clubs should have their own identity in futsal, like where they could go and be like, not only do we have a elite men's team and an elite women's team, but we also try to have an elite futsal team, and it goes alongside and kind of fits into the structure of the club, because then you can not say transfer players over, but I mean, if you use it smartly, you could certainly integrate it.
Certainly. I think it's a great developmental tool, yes, as well, because people always say it's futsal, maybe not for seniors, but for youth as development. But why not for senior as well? Because you think about how many players go through local academies, for example, or local youth teams right through the age groups, and then they never make an appearance in the senior team.
Yeah.
Or end up playing their football at another club at a different level. Wouldn't it be a great idea to have a futsal offering within your club to play in the local league? I'll give you context. It's 16 plus. So really under 16s, 17s, 18s, 19s, 20s, senior players, that catchment is massive for people. They could all play together, in one team to represent X team in the league. And that then gives clubs an opportunity, yes, if you're playing in the Irish Premiership, to fight for Europe. Because there's a couple of places in the Premiership where you can play Champions League, Conference League, Europa League, but also in futsal. So you have more opportunity to get that exposure in Europe in a different sport.
It's another category that the club can get in. Like,
absolutely.
If Glentoran are playing in Europe, both men's or women's are in the Champions League, but their futsal team qualifies for Europe as well.
Amazing.
They have 3 clubs all competing.
It gives the players more opportunities as well. We always say about, like, we're proud that we offer more and more opportunities, and us internally as well, the Irish FA, we're proud that our offering has increased over X amount of years.
Yeah.
At clubs, like, that would be another way of you demonstrating your offering has increased for local players, your youth players, to go and represent their club on the biggest stage. I think that would be amazing. And it all starts from entering the league.
Yeah.
And trying to win that.
Because a couple of teams did. I think Glentoran did have
Glentoran did, yes. They did. They played in the cup competition. They came back just after COVID. The league didn't happen at that point because it was a short window, so it played in a cup. And they entered and they played us in the first round, and it was actually quite a tight game. But Dundela have played in the league now this is going to be their second season. Rosario have played in the league before, so there has been football involvement, but I would like to see more of that, especially for the Premiership and Championship clubs.
Is that a mindset thing though, where clubs start to transition over and be like, we need to be forward thinking? It's not that I want to be negative here about reserve football, but if you're I can't say replace, because you can't really replace the development of kids, absolutely not. But at the same time, if you have another place where professionals can go and play to get minutes or do something in a line where the club's values are still intact, futsal is probably more competitive and tougher over that 40-minute period than what it is to play a reserve game.
You said it, not me.
And I haven't really played it, but I've you can see the physicality that it takes, and I know it's indoor and people will be like, that's just 5-side. It's genuinely not.
It's just five-a-side until you play it.
Until you're blowing after 3 minutes.
You'll realise very quickly.
Yeah.
I believe there could be a world where both avenues could be pursued. Like, there's no reason to get rid of one form of football or one category in football.
No, have them all.
Have everything and have that offering available to your players. That you don't have to force people, like, you need to go and play futsal, you need to do this, but have that offering available, and again show the benefits in which it can have. Yes, individual benefits, the technical, the tactical, the enjoyment, but also the collective benefits. Like, if you win this league, you get to go and play the Champions League.
Yeah.
If you do well in the league with your club, who's to say you couldn't get an international call up?
Yeah, your caps, how does that look for the league?
Yeah, you get, again, like football, you get caps for it.
But as part of NIF, obviously, NIF's its own identity. NIFL is its own identity, and then the Irish FA is obviously its own sporting body as well. But do you think that there is a position where all of these people sort of potentially come together, or do you think that football is going to be football and futsal is going to be futsal?
I would love that to happen, personally, where everyone was able to collaborate and I think just give exposure to futsal and to promote it and show the benefits. Again, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Until you actually see it in action, or you're given that exposure, you would just assume all the things that we talked about at the very start. It's just a floppy tennis ball. Can it even go over your head? Is it even fun?
Overhead,
it's just futsal. It's just futsal. It's not football. It's never going to be football. I've always said this. Futsal will never try to compete with football.
No.
Football's on a grand scale in terms of sports.
Absolutely.
We're not looking, I'm speaking of futsal hat on now, not looking to compete with football. We're looking to work around and collaborate with football. Yeah. I see this firsthand within our youth teams at Sparta, and even the senior team, where we have to move around our training sessions, our times, our venues, our days, senior team as well, to accommodate football players to play. And in terms of youth, I encourage our youth players to play football and to play multiple different sports to get that experience. Because yes, futsal might be great for them now, but they might find another interest in 2 or 3 years' time that they truly love. I encourage them to pursue that. But we always have to be flexible around football. And I would love to see everyone get together and give that exposure to the true benefits of futsal, for sure.
One of the things I have to ask you, and this is me thinking as a player and also as a manager, but when you have players who have agreed to play football and are paid, and the money aspect comes into it, and then they're saying, I have to go tonight, I can't make training, or I can't play this weekend because I've got a international game at the weekend or Sunday. How does that come into play? That must be a hard conversation for you to have with the management, to be able to be like, I'm sorry, I can't do this, but also for the manager to say, well, here, you're under contract and you want to do this, knowing that your passion is also split between football and futsal.
Difficult conversations to have, you're right. Perfect way to describe it, to be honest. Especially if there's a situation whereby you're playing in a football team when you're doing really well, maybe you're a main player, and you get an international call-up. International call-ups, yes, there's scheduled windows in the year where you might be playing in October or December or February or whatever, but you actually don't know if you're going to be part of that squad, whether it's selection or injury or availability, whatever, until like a week before, 2 weeks before. Same as senior football. It's exactly the same. So I think that's a really difficult conversation to have, to say, look, these are the dates I could potentially be away, but not guaranteed that I'm going to be away. And then also, yes, the contract, depending on what level of contract you have, whether it's a professional or an amateur. I think the key to it all is just transparency and clear communication with clubs.
Is that what you would do at the start there?
Every single time, and been very clear and transparent to say, look, yes, I play futsal, and these are the dates that I might be away. And thankfully, every single manager I've worked with have either been really understanding or actually actively encouraged it. Yeah. Because they understand that it's a big opportunity for me. It's not in spite of football. Football's been a big part of my development journey. I played football since I was 6, and I still love playing. I still play now. But it's an opportunity that we talked about as well. The playing days, they come and they go, and anything could happen. Anything could happen where you just can't play anymore, and I don't want to have missed opportunities to represent my country or my club at a European level. Not in spite of football, because I'll still always play football and I'll always give 100% to the clubs that I'm at.
Yeah.
Very dedicated to my training, never miss. Very dedicated to games, always fit and available, always try and keep myself in really good condition to play and be available, despite twin tracking both sports.
Yeah.
It's a big training commitment as well for me, and I think that's where a lot of clubs would question me, like, how do you fit this all in? Like, how are you not fatigued? You just have to manage your body and understand, okay,
the needs.
Yeah, this night maybe I'm a little bit tired. I don't need to be doing the really physical work, but I'll be ready for the game, or I'll be ready for the next training session. That very rarely, or probably never happened for me, but I think where I'm getting at here is the clear communication and transparency with your club to say, this is the situation and this is what I want to do.
How transferable are the skills? So you've played in Northern Ireland football. You've played in multiple different leagues at different times. And obviously you, not just to blow smoke here, you are the face of sort of international football for Northern Ireland, or futsal, for Northern Ireland. Do you see that elite players in Northern Ireland could fit into futsal quite easily if they were to buy into the tactical side, or do you think that if they went at it with a mindset of it's just five-a-side, that Sparta would sort of run all over the topper?
Very generous to say I'm the face. A few people would dispute that. I think there is transferable skills, futsal to football, more so than football to futsal.
Okay.
I think that futsal can be very specific in terms of your skills, and actually a lot of the feedback I've received from coaches I'll talk about youth, but also what I've seen with my own eyes is that they've had pleasant surprises whenever they've brought kids to come that they're amazing footballers in to play futsal. It's different for them.
Mm-hmm.
The ground, the way the ball moves, the way you have to move, the demands are different. Whereas some other kids that maybe are struggling a bit more on football because of the pitch size, how big the nets are, whatever, all these different factors come into play. When they come onto a futsal court, they look like a completely different player.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because the more technical and tactical elements are emphasized on a futsal court. Maybe that's a reason. Not one. I don't have one answer for that.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that for futsal to football, there's a lot of examples of players that have played high level futsal in their youth, or played within their football club that has a futsal structure like we talked about in these other countries, and have went on to have amazing footballing careers.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually one very recent example, and my friend Ryan, who is a futsal player as well, at my club in International. He loves this player, Richard Rios, for Benfica. He was playing futsal up until very, very recently. And you see him now, the value of this player when he plays football, like you're talking like a 40-50 million pound footballer now.
Yeah.
But his grassroots and his complete background is in futsal. Just one example, of course, but it's a very recent example. And then you could see loads of examples in the past of players that have big names in football that have done so. But I think the other way is locally it's more common. Why? Because futsal is a relatively new sport, but in the professional game, less common.
Yeah.
Less common if you use Spain.
So most other nations, if you're coming from a futsal background, you're further ahead, suitable for that sport, than what it would be for a footballer to jump in from the professional game.
For sure, because it's very specific. In countries like Spain, yes, you can twin track to a certain point, but then at some point you need to decide what path you're going to go down.
Yeah, okay.
Whether it's your football path or futsal path. But going back to our conversation earlier, that opportunity is there for them to decide.
Yeah.
They're within, they associate with the club that they're playing at, and they go down the path of their club, and they offer it at their club. They don't have to move to a different club to do a different offering. A lot of them have that offer.
Barcelona have a futsal
exactly.
team
and they've just won the league in Spain again.
Yeah. And that's where your £500,000 players are coming from.
Exactly. Well, actually, you've got clubs like Palma, who had been really successful in the Champions League for the last number of years, but hadn't won the league in Spain.
Okay.
Which is crazy to think. But
Yeah.
you've got clubs like Barcelona, who household name in football.
But they're also massive in basketball.
Yes.
Weirdly as well. Yeah.
These are institutions of sport.
Yeah. And that's where you're thinking that things need to change here.
Yeah. Well,
Visible puts the ultimate wireless hack in the palm of your hand. With unlimited 5G wireless data and hotspot designed to keep you connected, powered by Verizon's 5G network. And no contract holding you back. Plans start at $25 a month, or get the premium Visible Plus Pro plan and save $10 on your first month when you use promo code HACK. Make the switch at visible.com. Terms apply. See visible.com for details.
You associate with
sport for
you can
all,
associate with the badge, but who's to say like you could play for an Irish League club, but also that Irish League club is affiliated to a hockey team or a rugby team or whatever sport. These nations, like your Barcelona as an example, is an institution of sport that has many different facets of sport, and people associate them with the badge, as I said before, and not so much the sport. Yes, you've got the people there that love football and they're going to go to the football matches. You've got people there that love futsal, they're going to go to the futsal matches as well. But you've got people there as well that associate with the badge and go to all the sports that they offer.
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest transitions, and you've seen it probably yourself, obviously you've lived it, you've played in it with #United, but online streamers and internet sensations, and is it Kings League and these different things that have came around, and it's very much trying to change the ideology of football and futsal and trying to commercialize it, make it their own professional league, and we've seen some players transition into it. You've done that recently, which is not only very strange, but also another achievement that's it's ticked off your box. But talk to me about that. How does that come around? Because it's a massive sport, and it's probably not so much for the guests that are listening to this or the people who tune into this about Irish League football, but the younger generation who are online watching YouTube and watching these streamers, these massive names, all playing football and putting together professional teams and paying people massive money.
Yeah.
Class.
Massive. I actually talked about this earlier. I had more questions about TST, going to TST with #United.
So what is this? So where did you go? And can I explain what #United is? Give the whole heap.
So #United is a club developed from social media. Spencer, the guy that runs the club, amazing guy, had an idea to develop a club but based on social media. He developed the club, and now all these years later they're really competitive in the English structures but have a massive following on YouTube. And the opportunity came about to go to TST, the soccer tournament in America, in North Carolina. Very recently, #United have been playing in it for the past 3 years. This was the 4th year that they played in it.
Okay.
To go away with players that have associated with #United and to try and win $1 million.
Right, okay.
Which is what it is, the soccer tournament.
So that's your prize, is just $1 million?
If your team wins, you win $1 million.
Unreal.
Which is incredible. For that tournament in particular, it's a 7v7 tournament. We talk about football having specific rules, futsal having specific rules. This also has specific rules. 7v7, it's outdoor on 3G or football pitch, depending on what pitch you played on in North Carolina. Nets are of course smaller, pitches are smaller, but the ground is the same as what you would associate with football. And it's played in time periods.
Okay.
We had 3 different sections, and this will connect together. You've got the men's section, you got the women's section, and you got the mixed section. All of them play for $1 million. So $3 million worth of prize money was given away in June there. Incredible. #United historically had entered the men's section before, and actually last year they went away and they ended up playing against Sergio Aguero and his team.
Okay.
And they lost in that game. But that experience to compete against like an iconic football player and his squad, he scored 2 goals, amazing goals by the way. If you're on YouTube, go and watch them, incredible. But for those players to play against that level of opposition is outstanding.
Yeah.
In terms of the mixed section, this is I'm talking about time periods. People are probably saying like boys and girls playing together or like playing against. No, the way it works is it's 9-minute time periods for 4 quarters. 9 minutes, the first 9 minutes, the girls played. Then the next 9 minutes, the boys played. But the scores are kept.
Oh, so whatever the women's are
yes,
winning,
exactly.
Carry on.
It carries on to the men. Then at half time, then women again, then men again. But the game doesn't end there at the end of the 36 minutes. Target score time, TST, then comes into play, where whatever the score is at that point, imagine we're playing against each other and your team's beating me 1-0. The target score then is 2. One more score on top of the winning team score. That means you only need to score 1 more goal to win the game. I need to score 2 goals to win the game.
Okay.
It starts 7v7. Imagine the girls play that. Then it goes to 6v6, comes off after, depending on what format you're playing, or depending on what category you're playing, it's 3 or 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, imagine, girls come off, boys come on, play 6v6. They come off after 5 minutes, 5v5, until someone scores.
Yeah.
Until, imagine you score and win the game, or I score 2 and win the game. So similarly to futsal, the game is always on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what captures the audience in comparison to football. In football, I'm not saying this happens in every game, because it doesn't. If a scoreline's so massive, then it's usually game over.
Yeah.
Whereas in these formats, the game is always on. And I think that's what was amazing about TST. How it came about for me, they hashtag it actually entered, as I said, for the previous 3 years, and this year being the 4th. The manager of the team, Stuart Cook, had contacted me last year on late notice to they had someone pull out of the squad and say, look, can you make this? And I couldn't, unfortunately, with other commitments. But this year he had contacted me very early. He's also the assistant manager of England Futsal and also the previous manager of Northern Ireland Futsal, senior men's team on both. So he knew me as a player and knew that I would, in terms of the skill sets that I have, could be really beneficial for that format in terms of transferable. We talked about that in football. I actually think futsal players, the skill set is very transferable to that format of 7-a-side, that particular TST format. And from what I've seen, there was a lot of futsal players there. Actually, in the female category, a lot of female players that even wearing futsal shoes on the grass, but they were playing like futsal players. So I accepted the opportunity.
Not really something you can say no to.
No, not at all. And I was so grateful to be offered, because the squad that was put together, it was a really good squad, female and male. We played in the mixed section, as I said. So we had 11 of each go away. And the first player ever from Northern Ireland to go away in any team to play in that tournament, like extremely grateful to be given that opportunity. Based on what I maybe done in my futsal career, not my football career, in my 100%. Futsal career.
Again, we talk about potentially opening doors, and where it can lead to, and kind of projecting yourself on the biggest stages. Yeah,
and I believe that the futsal really opened that door for me. When I got given that opportunity, we went away. We played in the mixed section. As I said, there was 12 other teams, and they were all very, very strong. I think they all had the idea that maybe if we enter the men's section, there's going to be a lot of teams. Enter the women's section, there's going to be a lot of teams. We enter the mixed, it's going to be less teams. But actually, they were really strong.
Everybody done the same thing.
Yeah, well, there was 12 teams in particular, and some of them were exceptionally strong in the men's and the women's the year before, and they just combined and entered the mixed. So they had really strong squads. The team that was in our group actually went on to win $1 million.
Okay.
But yeah, for a positive from my side was I was named the men's player of the tournament for hashtag.
Yeah.
That was my first time ever playing that format, and
amazing.
Extremely grateful like to get that recognition. It's not about the individual awards, obviously, because I would have rather won the $1 million.
Yeah, you wanted your cut.
I'd rather not play a game and we win the $1 million as a collective, but it's always nice to be recognized.
Well, how much would you have got out of it? Was there talks of being like, if we get this, you get a split of...
Ask the questions after.
We'll need to do that.
Ask the questions after.
Get the experience.
100%. But yeah, for me, it was never really about the money, because like every team goes in with a dream to win that $1 million. So your opportunities like the lottery, you know, you might win, you might not. And it can depend on some game moments, if you look at that format in particular, there's not a lot of action area around the nets. It's very technical, very tactical, very strategic. So it's really decided on moments, especially in the target score time. Imagine it's 0-0 in our game after the 36 minutes and one goal wins it.
Yeah.
And that could be the difference between $1 million and not.
Yeah.
You can imagine how cagey the game actually is.
Nobody
wants to make a mistake.
Nobody wants to go.
No, nobody wants to make a mistake. So that's where I think my skill sets really came in terms of futsal, where the game is always on in futsal. Your emotional stability needs to be there. You could be 1 or 2 goals down. It's okay. The game's still on. Still have a chance to win the game. And really grateful to be given that opportunity, and hopefully in the future, if the opportunity presents itself again.
I was about to say, surely it would. If they've tried to contact you the first year, you've went the second year, you're sort of hoping then going like,
I would love
I'll
to.
see you
I would love
year.
to again. That's up to hashtag if they would like to have me back. If they would, then I would love to go back again. It's a great opportunity, and I said it before. I said to you before, but yes, I'd signed for Dundela recently. Yeah, but the amount of messages I got.
No one cares about Dundela.
I do.
Well, yes, I get that. But in terms of like the kids and stuff who are watching it, and the people, even if you go away with them and you're coaching all these kids at younger age groups, they're probably looking at you going, I watched you play on the internet in this hashtag United and watching this tournament. They're like insane.
I kept it very tight-lipped until it was like confirmed. Like they had promoted it online that I was part of their squad. But then also, like when they announced their squad, people maybe see it or they don't see it or they flick through or whatever and just like, know him, whatever. Whenever it was announced and I was telling, like, especially the young kids that I coach, honestly, they were like, no way, are you
insane?
Are you like going with hashtag? Like, you're going with hashtag? Like, they couldn't believe it, because that younger generation have grown up with social media and they understand what hashtag is. Whereas if I'm speaking to other people, maybe a bit older, around my age or a bit older, they're like, who?
Yeah,
where are you going? Like, you going to America to do what? So it's different that way. But honestly, the amount of messages I got about that from people that I haven't spoke to in years, that I'm friendly with over Facebook or Instagram, or like people calling me and saying, or WhatsApp, like,
what is this?
Like, wow, like how did that come about?
Who'd you pay to get in there?
Had to pay a lot of money to get in. Never mind $1 million, wouldn't it? But yeah, amazing opportunity. If anyone from Northern Ireland ever gets the opportunity, or even from the UK or Ireland, to get an opportunity to go away,
take it.
Definitely, you won't regret it, for sure.
And where do you see things going now, in terms of the publicity that futsal's hoping to gain from the international stage that you have qualified for? Obviously being in the Champions League and obviously building that side up, and then also you have a season coming up now. So as much as we love talking about futsal, and my whole idea having you on was to try and reiterate how futsal could potentially become a part of Northern Ireland setup and the benefits that it can have for players. But one, you have to go back to playing for Dundela, but also you've qualifiers coming up. So fingers crossed we're going to see positive results.
Yeah, I would love to see positive results. I think we can. I do believe with the players that we have in our squad, with Northern Ireland, we can go and achieve something really special. Won't come easy, of course not. And you have to go and play away at these nations now. The format's different, as I said before. You're going to have 2 home games, 2 away games. And that's going to be a new experience for us, where you're going and you're playing just that one game. You're going away specifically for that one game, or hosting just that one game. It's going to be different, for sure. But we have to believe. We have to work really, really hard in these coming months to give ourselves the best opportunity to go out and perform. And I've said it to the players that because of who we are as a nation, the size and the scale in which we are in terms of futsal, this might only come around once in our careers.
100%.
So we have to fully embrace it and give ourselves the best opportunity to perform. I'm not saying that if we do this, that and the other, that we're going to go away and we're going to get like 12 points in the group.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to not have any regrets from this campaign, to prepare ourselves the best we can. In terms of the trajectory, I think it's a massive opportunity for futsal in Northern Ireland to give that exposure, to promote the sport on the back of what was achieved in April, and to encourage more people and to give more education to people about what futsal actually is. I think the home matches will be a big opportunity for that as well.
Yeah.
Where people can come and actually physically see the sport at an elite level. It's not all about the elite as well, though, because you've got your grassroots and you've got your youth pathways involved in that. I've said that from the very start. That's where it starts. I think we should be putting a lot of emphasis into that.
Yeah,
and
bringing the kids to it,
and the
letting
next,
them see it, and
next generation.
playing the long game there. No?
I'm not getting any younger. All our senior men's international players are not getting any younger.
There is a bald guy who looks 40. Now,
Poor Connor Miller. He's going to be watching this.
That's apologies. I don't know the guy at all. I've never seen him, but the qualification games that you had against England, I tuned in and I watched it on YouTube, but I was in Turkey. And I was like, who the fuck's the old guy up front? Now, he scored a couple of fantastic goals. I was like, fucking fair dues. But I was like, the YouTube channel or whoever was using the camera just didn't do him any justice. So apologies for saying he's 40. He's probably
Connor's not 40. He's not far off it now. And he behaves like it as well. But honestly, incredible futsal player.
Seen that.
Really well respected, not only locally for our national teams, our all-time leading goal scorer, but also he played in England for a very, very long time at numerous different clubs and very well respected in that league as well. So someone I'm really proud to call a teammate. He had an amazing qualification campaign and he'll be key for us.
Absolutely.
As well as other players. I don't want to go through a full list. It's not going to be one of those, but there's loads of other. Every single player in futsal, you got a squad of 14. Every single player is utilised. You need everyone. But in terms of key players and key moments, he was a big player for us.
Yeah,
and
he will be
fantastic goals. He will be a big player for us going forward. So
yeah,
really excited to play with him. Hopefully at the next matches.
Yeah.
This summer soccer is here, and so are the watch parties. And Uber Eats has your game day essentials covered. Everything you need to keep your crowd happy, delivered straight to your door. Get wings, pizza, chips, dips, fresh ingredients, and more. Keep the soccer going and all your game day essentials flowing. Order in so you can lock in for the games. Only on Uber Eats for a limited time.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Well, listen, thank you. Good luck in your qualifications. Good luck for the season as well. I hope you deliver for Big Cliffy. And he sang quite a lot of boys there, so fingers crossed he does well. He's a good man. I've known him for a long time, and I obviously want to see him be successful. So good luck on both fronts.
Thank you.
But we finish on hugs.
Yeah.
As always.
Always.
So up you get, sir. Thank you. Good to have you in, and thank you for trying to publicise this sport. As I say, it's something that I've kind of touched into with working with Paul for the last sort of year and a half, 2 years, and it's very different, and it's really changed my perception of it, because when you think about football and people tell you, oh, futsal, I'm playing futsal, but like 2 years ago I'd be like, get the fuck, you're not playing futsal. But once you see the effort and the work that goes into it, and it's just constant, you're doing dummies, and especially when you watch you play against a really average team, it's heartbreaking too at times, being on that side of the fence. So thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Join us next week on the On The Spot Football Podcast for another fantastic guest. You'll just have to tune in and see who it is. See you soon.